Okay, everyone. So we are now live, and we're about to go live with the cameras in just a moment. But Pip's got to give us the intro, and then we go on ahead and we come on in with the music in post. You'll see why we're doing this in a minute, chat, because we have a special guest. So the camera work is going to be a little different. I will not be on camera. It will be my beautiful better half, Pip Ballantyne, and our special guest Jack Mangan. So Pip, when you are ready, could you please give us the intro?
Welcome to the Shared Desk, episode 105.
This is raw as it's gonna get. I'm telling you right now, chat. This is what happens when innovation takes over. Good evening, everybody. It is once again time for the Shared Desk. I am your host, T. Morris, and over on the screen, to the left, my better half. That's me. Yes.
I am Pip Ballantyne.
And
I thought you about our lovely guest.
I'm going over to the other lovely guest, the Iron Man of podcasting himself. It took us a long time to get him on the show, but he finally is here. Special guest, sign on in.
Hey everyone, this is Jack Mangan. You may know me as Deadpan Jack Mangan. I should have come loaded with an AKA name.
Yeah, it's okay. AKA. Oh my God, I remember that. Man, that takes. Okay, so let's do a quick before we let Jack introduce himself. We should probably introduce Jack. We called Jack the Iron Man of podcasting because Jack had a podcast that seemed to outlast all the first wave of podcasts. Jack has kept his foot in podcasting, even though he himself kind of ended Jack Mangan's Deadpan many moons ago. The blog is still very active, and Jack has somehow managed to keep his foot in podcasting since the early days, like when Pip and I started. And so
the beginning of time.
Yeah. Let me tell you the days of high adventure. and we
handcrafted RSS.
Exactly.
I was there. I was there.
I've seen RSS you people wouldn't believe. all those lines of code lost like tears in rain. Time to die.
To pod fade.
But Jack has been there since the beginning. I think he is the only person apart from myself and Chuck Tomasi to appear in every edition of Podcasting for Dummies, including the fourth one that's coming out soon. First off, some quick shout outs in the chat. I want to say hey to Panic, and I want to say hey to Agent Series, aka Steampunk Rick. But the whole AKA thing with Jack is that was one of his jams on Jack Mangan's Deadpan. Every time he would sign on, this is Jack, AKA, and every week he would have a different alias, and I'm like, my God, this man is loaded for bear. And we've had some great times with Jack. It has been too long since I've seen Jack. Actually, it was the third edition of Podcasting for Dummies, but Jack, why don't you go on ahead and tell my audience and tell our audience, who are you and what is it that you do?
Well, there's a lot there. Yeah, I am Jack Mangan. I have been around podcasting almost as long as T. Morris. Not quite as long as T. Morris, but almost as long. And I kind of got my foot in the door in podcasting through the Dragon Page shows. For those of you who've been listening and been around this world for a long time, you remember those. With other Iron Men, were Evo Terra, and I guess Michael Armenengay has stepped away, but Evo Terra is still active.
Very active.
Podcasting stuff.
Yep.
And I kind of met them because I was my trajectory, at least in the beginning, was not that different from T. Morris. And I was up and coming writer, and I learned of this opportunity through the podcast novels. So my first novel, Spherical Tomy,
another great memory.
Released as a podcast novel, and it did really well, in that arena, in that world, and it was really a great thing. And then the Deadpan podcast is something I did that took off and had a lot of great years, again, as T alluded. And then the past decade, the 20 teens or whatever we're calling them, the 20 tweens, well, I'm not sure what you're calling them. I've primarily been, at least in the fun world, I've been, doing music journalism, been doing more and more of that. In fact, 2 days ago, I posted an interview between myself and Blothar, the Berserker Blothar of Gwar. So,
Oh my
Oh,
God. Oh my
yeah.
God.
So, I've been doing a lot of that, and that's
Wow.
been a lot of fun. And that's been, but and also dealing, as those of you around me and even around the Winging It shows know, there were life things that needed to be dealt with, dragons that needed to be wrangled, and that kind of thing. So it took until about the late 20 teens. I retired. I actually ended, as T said, I didn't just pod fade. I ended the Deadpan podcast. Yep. Said, okay, this is when we're going to end, and went a few episodes longer than that. Ended that around 2014. Yeah, the community still gets together. They're still there, which is fantastic. The community that kind of came up from the podcast. But anyway, that's, so, and now, like I said, the writing thing is coming back. I've been doing the writing on my own for a little while. I haven't published anything, but that's kind of by design. Been doing, just getting back into it, and I've had some great support, but we'll touch on that. So yeah, that's that's the very high level view. But yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing.
So, so Jack, that's part of what we wanted to talk about here with the shared desk is we wanted to go into this current project that you're working on. And I think the first thing we should address about it is this is sort of new territory for you. And again, for anybody in chat that's curious about this, we're going to be talking about the different approaches that a writer would take from one project to the next. In this particular case, Jack is known for being a novelist and a short story author. And Jack is being kind of humble about it, even though Jack had stepped away from the writing. Pip and I kept dragging it. It was a bit like that line from The Godfather Part 3. As soon as I get out, they pull me back in. We kept dragging Jack into our steampunk world. And if you remember, there was from season 1 of Tales from the Archives.
Yes, the original.
Knights Plutonian Shore. That's the guy that wrote it. And then Jack did another callback to that. In the ministry protocol, where he got a byline alongside people like Alex White, Delilah S. Dolan, Karina Cooper, a lot of good people that were in that volume. And so while he says he stepped away, we refuse to let him go because we love Jack and we love Jack's work. But this is a very different project that Jack finds himself in. Jack, so the first thing is that this new project you're involved in is a graphic novel. So what is, apart from the obvious that you're working now with artists and imagery, what are the challenges in making the jump from novelist, short story writer to graphic novelist?
Well, thanks. I mean, that's a great setup, and I will have to say, yeah, it was an honor to write for your world, and I really appreciated it. And I thought, I was really proud of Knights Plutonian Shore. I really thought that was a lot of fun to write, and it was a lot of fun. I appreciate you guys kind of having my back, even when I didn't have the headspace for writing. At that time, you guys still said, "Hey, we need this from you," and it was awesome. So I really
to give you an idea, since I know Steampunk Rick is in here, to give you an idea of the impact that Jack made on the series, if it wasn't for Jack, we wouldn't have had the Office of the Supernatural and Metaphysical or the Agents of Awesome.
Right. We didn't know.
We didn't even know that existed until Knights Plutonian Shore landed on our laps, and we were like, "Oh God, we got to run with this." And when Jack gave us his blessing to run with it, that's when we got a chance to do all that stuff in Dawn's Early Light. And if you remember, Pip, we had the showdown between Awesome and House of Usher at Eastwood Ridge.
That's
which is such a great callback to Back to the Future Part 3, and nobody caught that. When he said that, when Jack said that in the story, I'm like, oh my God, Eastwood Ridge, that is such a pull. But now, Jack, in the world of graphic novels, how does that differ from what you've done as a short story writer or as a novelist?
Yes, sorry. So staying on point, and actually answering your question, I will plead the fifth. No, I'm kidding. No, so it is very. I'm still learning it, absolutely, because you guys know an awful lot about collaboration. To state the obvious, and it's absolutely a collaborative effort. You don't want, when you're the head writer on a graphic novel or a comics project. You don't want a bunch of drones who are just going to do whatever. Now I did a lot of studying. I read Neil Gaiman scripts. I read some scripts that I'd found from Alan Moore. I just kind of read what was available so that I could kind of learn from the best. I saw a Frank Miller script again. Just wanted to make sure that I was copying some of the people that I grew up on and some of my comics heroes. Because I also, just as a quick, an anecdote, I was a huge comics reader as a kid, and I was one of the, probably like many people of our generation, stepped away from it and then rediscovered it as an adult and went, wow, this stuff is amazing. Of course, Dark Knight Returns was it was a huge deal. Watchmen was a huge deal for me. T and I have talked for hours about Watchmen.
Wow, haven't we ever?
But so anyway, so finally answering your question is that I was trying, one interesting thing is I was trying really hard to draft the entire page, because it's not like screenplay writing, but you're kind of mapping out each page and talking about where the panels are going to be, because it's a visual medium. Again, stating the obvious. And what ended up being kind of fascinating was that as I went along, I would find some from modern writers who are really good. I won't name names here because I don't want this to be misconstrued as criticism, but I was kind of saying, wow, I think you're a brilliant writer, but basically your instruction is, hey, artist, they have a fight on this page. All right, on the next page, and then they make up. And then the next page, then and I was kind of saying, wow, that is really leaving a lot to the imagination. So I was trying to do the opposite of that. I was trying to really draft it out and say, okay, there's going to be a circular panel here, a trapezoidal shaped panel here, with with no border that leads onto the next one.
Oh wow!
And so my artist finally came back to me and said, I appreciate that, and that's all cool, but you don't really have to do that, because that's kind of where I am with the artist. And I think now, of course, some artists might say, no, please give me step-by-step instructions. But I think this is going to be the kind of thing, and I believe this is something I've learned even looking at Neil Gaiman scripts. You have to really, it's about a relationship between the writer and the artist. And I noticed on Neil Gaiman's scripts, I've read a few of his, he addresses the artist by name. It says, hi, Bob, we're on this page, this is going to happen here, and this is going to happen there, and this is what's important. So I think that's a really interesting, and that's one of the major things, of course, collaboration. And of course, one of the nice things is for all of you writers out there who struggle with your, grammar and punctuation, you can write as good as you want when you're doing a graphic novel script, because you're just having a conversation behind the scenes. It doesn't matter if you have grammatical screw ups or even misspellings. What matters is what appears on the screen. On the page.
That's the one thing that T and I haven't done a collaboration on as a graphic novel. So it's always interesting to hear how that whole process actually works. Maybe one day we'll get into something like that. So I know you've talked to T about this project, but can you give me the broad, what are you doing? I know you're what is the subject of the graphic novel? How did you get involved in the first place?
Well, funny that you asked that, Pip. No, it's the story is basically that, again, as a music journalist, I've been talking to a lot of amazing artists and some of my heroes. One of my personal heroes is a guy named Brian Tatler, who is from the band Diamond Head, who, if you're a Metallica fan, you may not even be aware, but you've heard Diamond Head. You've heard a lot of Diamond Head. They're Metallica's favorite band. Metallica have done as of now, they've done 4 Diamond Head covers.
Wow.
One of their,
okay.
Yeah. And one of Metallica's biggest songs is not even, of course, Metallica have a legendary career and lots of brilliant songs on their own, but one of their biggest songs is a song called Am I Evil, which is a Diamond Head song. They covered the Diamond Head song. All of us kids heard it through Metallica first and loved it and kind of thought, I bet you the original's crap. And then you hear the original and you go, wow, Metallica were really faithful. Like even the guitar solos, you think, oh, nobody's as fast as Kirk Hammett when you're a kid. And no, the Brian Tatler is every bit as good in 1979. It's wow. Pretty incredible.
So Diamond Head's been around for a while.
Yeah, they're about as old as Iron Maiden.
Wow.
I mean, not quite Judas Priest, but yeah, they're part of the new wave of British heavy metal. Yeah, they've been around for and by the way, Diamond Head are still going strong today. Their last album came out in 2019. It was one of the best albums of the year. It was fantastic.
Fantastic. So, okay.
Yeah, but so anyway, I'm telling this in the long way around. Cutting to the chase. Basically, I interviewed Brian Tatler, and we chatted a little bit outside of the interview, and I just said, has anyone ever approached you guys about making Am I Evil into a graphic novel or into a novel? I wasn't really, stuck to a format. I said, someone should make a story out of this. And he seemed to really like the idea, and he seemed really intrigued by it. And I said, well, I can make that happen. And, we chatted a little bit, and of course he didn't know me. So I said, I'll make this happen. He's like, he basically kind of gave me a little bit of, okay, sure. Because he's I'm sure he hears the kind of nonsense all the time.
Right.
Like,
right,
hey,
right.
I'm going to make you guys, so I'm sure he's like, yeah, whatever.
I'm going to make you guys famous.
Like,
exactly.
Yeah. So when I got back to him, and, I ended my conversation with him and went and recruited a team of artists, an amazing team of artists. I'll drop their names in a second. But, I came back to him and I said, I need your permission. And there's one other songwriter as the original singer of Diamond Head. So I reached out to that guy, got permission from Sean Harris, and who's the two songwriters. I bought the license. So everything's on the up and up. And so we're going. And so basically, if you don't know the song, the very first lines are, "My mother was a witch. She was burned alive." And then, the next line has a curse word, so we'll keep that out. But,
Thank you. I use the family-friendly tag, so yes, let's keep it clean.
Yeah. Gosh darn it. But so basically, the rest of the song details his revenge. He gets his revenge on the 27 who murdered his mother, and of course, the chorus of the song is "Am I evil? Yes, I am." So that's really fertile territory. Yeah. It's really
great story.
Yeah. Well, you're right. I mean, it's not. I don't have any delusions. I'm not saying, well, we're the first. No one else has ever done a revenge story. This is the first time, but it's very fertile. It's a great story in the song. To me, I mean, the music is magnetic and electrifying, but also the story really is very captivating. And I felt like there's a great story to be told here. So that's basically what we're proceeding to tell. Of course, there's witchcraft, there's revenge, there's swordplay, there's blood. It's going to be a lot of fun. And what we have already so far is a lot of fun. The artwork that we have already is a lot of fun. It's going to be a really great, fun story. And also, I mean, there's some depth to it. When he says, "Am I evil? Yes, I am." And there's a tiny bit of philosophy. Don't worry, it's not going to be 28 pages of people sitting around discussing, the nature of evil and man. I mean, that's not the story of the song. We're going to start with the witch burning, and we're going to get to the revenge is going to happen. Wow. There's going to be some fun stuff, but yeah, so I'll take a breath and let you guys have your show back. But
what time period is it? Like this world, or is it a secondary world, or is it a period?
Actually, I'm glad you asked that. We're actually we're keeping it non-specific, but we're basically saying 400 years in the past. Okay. So we're not necessarily, of course, when you talk about witchcraft, where your mind immediately goes to Salem, but this kind of thing happened in Europe as well. So it's not. This wasn't a strictly American phenomenon.
Right. Right.
So we wanted to make sure that a reader that no one was tied to it, or someone said, "Yeah, Salem witchcraft doesn't really do much for me." It's got a little bit of a sword and sorcery edge to it. But again, we're not going Conan. They're gonna be, so a little bit more detail. There's gonna be some characters are gonna have primitive flintlock pistols and blunderbusses and that kind of thing. So it's gonna be right around that time period. But again, we're not being specific to a date or a time, so that basically all of your readers can relate to it without thinking, okay, this is the Puritans and Salem.
And that's fine, because I mean, you don't necessarily have to set this type of fiction in Salem. It doesn't have to be the Crucible.
Exactly.
It doesn't, because I mean the thing about steampunk, everyone seems to forget steampunk wasn't just happening in America and Great Britain. We do steampunk in India, we do steampunk in Russia. I mean, there are so many different because the 19th century wasn't just
happened everywhere.
It happened everywhere. Last time I checked, that's the magic of the 19th century. So now that we've got the project out there, and now Pip's up to speed with you and me, because we've talked about this a lot. But one of the things that the three of us can talk about, both from a plus and a minus, is how do you fund something like this? And well, the way you fund it, especially when you're indie artists, is you turn to the Holy Trinity, which is Kickstarter, Indiegogo, and GoFundMe. Now, but now let's talk about that. What are the challenges that you're finding, Jack, with crowdfunding?
No, that's a good question. Crowdfunding it's been interesting. My first foray into crowdfunding has been this year, 2020. You may have noticed there are a few other things going on this year. I don't
Just a
know
bit.
if you might have
Just a bit.
So
I'm sorry. 2020 can go F itself. They took Chadwick from us. We were not done with Chadwick. Chadwick still had a lot more stories to tell. Damn it.
2020 is 295 years long.
Yeah, exactly. Longest effing year. Okay, but yeah, 2020, a lot of stuff's been happening. But you were one of the bold ones, and you launched a Kickstarter, correct?
We did, yeah. So full disclosure, the Kickstarter launched in April. April was the worst possible time because again, that was when this thing was COVID-19 was really
running around like crazy people.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully in their houses, but yeah.
Oh, exactly. It was a crazy time, and it's not to say that everything is back to normal now.
No.
There are lots of chaotic things happening in the world. That's an offline discussion, maybe, or an off-mic discussion, or a different podcast at least. but yeah, there's a lot going on. It was not great timing, and actually, what I would say, since this is we want to help writers to learn about things. I was saying 2 weeks before the launch, we're probably going to go in 2 weeks. We're just watching the world situation, and that's basically you're already shot in the foot. Imagine you're about to take the field to play in the Super Bowl, using a sports analogy, and you say to the team, all right, I think we're going to go out in the field in a little while. So if we do, play your best. Your team are not going to play their best, and that includes, I just was not able to do it properly. So
Right.
I don't blame. Of course, the world was a factor. I don't blame the world. I blame I didn't do all the right things because I was watching the world, and of course, as I said, the world was absolutely a factor. I certainly heard from people who said, I love Am I Evil. I will absolutely donate to this as soon as I have a job again.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
It was what it was. So this time around, the team made a decision. I want to say right off the bat, Kickstarter was a great experience. I learned a lot, and Kickstarter is a great platform. There's one reason why we're going with Indiegogo for our second go around, which is really, and we kind of, let me back up really quickly. Within the team, we had kind of said, let's do this as a dress rehearsal. Let's do this. Let's figure it out. With Kickstarter, like I said, it's a great platform. I'm not going to debate whether this is a flaw or a perk or what, but Kickstarter, you either make zero or you make your goal.
Right. Right.
No matter what your goal is, whether you set your goal too high or that doesn't matter. It's almost irrelevant. So obviously, because we didn't hit our full goal, so we ended up with zero. So with Indiegogo, again, there was a team decision. I'm the one who instigated this. I'm the one who assembled the team. Again, I'm gonna stray from analogies because I don't want to say I'm the Tony Stark, because we all remember how that went for him. But I put the team together, and I truly want to keep the team mentality there. And as a team, we it was actually, I put it to a vote, and it was unanimous to go with. It was the votes were either I'm cool with whatever, or Indiegogo.
Mm-hmm.
And the main reason for that, and I even myself, I voted Indiegogo, not as a strike against Kickstarter, is because we've said, this time around we're going to go Indiegogo, because with Indiegogo, whatever we raise, minus Indiegogo's cut, which is how these things work. It's not like Indiegogo are robbing us. They're doing their job.
Right.
Yeah.
Indiegogo is going to take their cut, and then whatever we have left is going to determine at least it could determine our entire budget, or it's going to determine, a portion of our budget, but we will be able to make something.
Right.
As opposed to where we went after April, we couldn't make anything because we didn't have any budget. Now we will have something, and we'll make something. And I've made a joke, which some people have misunderstood. I've said, if we make nothing, then I'll just draw it on lined notebook paper, which is a joke, because we have amazing artists. Maybe this is a good time if you guys are cool that I'm going to drop.
Yeah, I want to hear the collaborators that are making
Absolutely.
this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and this is where all the money's going, because actually our first priority now, we've also taken printing out of our first tier. So we're going to do a digital book. It'll be all digital. Of course, printing will be a stretch goal, but we have amazing artists who I'm not going to shortchange them. They're worth their time, and a couple of people on this team, this is their day job.
Yeah.
They're not just going to the office every day and then like, oh, I'll do some stuff later at night. Like some people, this is their day job, and they're professionals. They deserve to be paid at a professional rate.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
we have a guy named Cheyenne Wright, who everyone listening to this probably knows that name.
Yes. We do indeed.
Yes, legendary in our world, and Hugo winner, and just an
Guy's a
amazing artist.
master. Guy's a master.
Yeah.
I love his work. I love Cheyenne's work.
I love his work, and he himself is a
He's
great
good
guy.
people.
So
He's real good people.
yeah, he's good people. So we're honored to have him on the team. We have a guy named James F. Beveridge, who's an Aurora Award winner, multiple Aurora Award winners. So obviously he's Canadian, but his artwork just is stunning, absolutely incredible. He's done, if you've seen anything from our project, he's done our what has been our main image of our hero. Or I guess he's not our hero because he's evil, but our saying yes I am evil. But our protagonist with his 2 bloody axes in his hand, looking really pretty. I'll say bad, but since we're trying to keep
you can say badass. I think that's fine.
Yeah, I thought so. Okay, he's looking badass. That's James F. Beveridge, and honestly, look him up. He's amazing. Got a guy named Richard Clark who's done worked for, you name him, he's worked for him. He's worked for every major comics company out there, including the big ones. He's done work for Playboy magazine. He didn't pose, he did illustrations. He's done work for Sports Illustrated. I mean, he's been all across the map. He's done great stuff. And then our guy named Derek Ma is our last artist who's on the team, who's done some incredible Canadian books. One's called Sharkosaurus, which is a lot of fun, and he did a Sherlock Holmes book, which a young Sherlock Holmes book.
Very cool. Very cool.
So yeah, great art from all of them. And one more name I'll name drop is Rich Catino, who's my colleague at MetalAsylum.net. He actually owns Metal Asylum, and he and I are, he's done an incredible amount of work for this project as well. So again, the artists need to get paid for their professional work. That's where the money is going. But of course, we're going to put some stretch goals. So that's why I'm not going to say like, oh, just if you are interested in this and you want to see something great, that's where, I'm not the world's greatest promoter. In spite of my initial reputation with Spherical Tommy, I'm not the world's greatest. So I know I'm kind of downplaying it, but the more we get, the more we can do this amazing story. The more we can honor Metallica, and the more we can honor Diamond Head, who are seriously legends. And again, the more we can get these artists done. And one other thing, I mean, I'd like to make some money out of this, but that's not the expectation. That's kind of, this is a labor of love for me. So it's not like I'm saying, please donate so I can ride around in my limousine. I'm saying, please donate so we can break even.
Well, no, I mean, it's no different. It's no different than when Pip and I were doing, as you know, when we were doing the Ministry Protocol, we wanted to not only make sure we could pay, SIFLA rates. I actually wanted to pay more, and we did. I told Pip, I said, look, for this being an independent project, I want to make the best impression we can make. So, this is the current rate. I want to pay this much. And Pip's like, okay, that means we got to make more. And I'm like, that's fine. And we make more.
We make more.
And one of the ways that, because Jack is also the, he is the head writer for this as well. Pip and I were the editors, and I contributed a short story for the Protocol, and I didn't pay myself, but the thing was, we wanted to make sure that the actual artist, basically the cover artist and the authors inside the book all got paid, and they got paid better rights, because we are firm believers that if you're gonna have other people play in your sandbox, you got to make sure they get paid. So
Agreed.
So Jack, apart from getting people to obviously donate to this sort of project, what do you think are some of the other challenges? I mean, have you found that trying to get on people to talk about them on the podcast? I mean, is it better to do podcasting and a hard promotion push before you launch the project? I mean, and I ask this because I've seen it where, I'll give you a perfect example of what I thought was just a heartbreaker of a Kickstarter for me. I was at an event called MagFest, and there was someone there who was she was at MagFest, and she had the demo for her computer game. The computer game was basically teaching kids about biology. And the premises was you were in a submarine that had been shrunken down, basically Fantastic Voyage. You were shrunk down to microscopic level, and you were basically exploring the human body in this submarine. And I thought, the graphics were, the demo was awesome. The graphics were gorgeous. I was like, she said, yeah, and I've got a Kickstarter. I said, great. When does it launch? And she said, oh, it ends this weekend. And it's ending the weekend of MagFest, one of the biggest gaming festivals in the country, which comes back to that other thing, timing. So what have been some of the challenges, apart from just dealing with COVID-19? What have been some of the other challenges that you've been trying to overcome?
No, that's a great, and that story is heartbreaking. But I am a master of timing. So the thing is that, that's my little joke. I'm actually not a master of timing. See April.
To be fair, no one saw April coming.
Yeah, thank you, Pip. Yes.
That one.
No, you're right. And well, I mean, I think you actually, and just as a full disclosure to everyone, I have consulted with Team Morris on this because I don't feel like I have the best answer. But I agree with I agree with basically the story. Do the opposite of the story you just told. Is don't get people interested right as it's ending. So I've done a couple of podcasts appearances over the summer of 2020, kind of leading up to. Actually, I haven't told everyone yet. We're going September 9th is our launch date, which is the Wednesday. The Indiegogo, September 9th, the Wednesday after Labor Day for those of you in the United States. This summer, I've been talking to people and doing some podcasts. Some of them folks were kind enough. In fact, the Two Gay Geeks and Good Times Universe were kind enough to say to me, "Hey, we'll hold off and put this out around the time of
that's
the
great.
Kickstarter or the
That's great.
Indiegogo launch." So that was really kind of them. Yeah, I think it is truly, a matter of some timing, is you kind of want people to strike up the interest. I also, let me go back to the previous one. We actually did some press releases in January, which was way too early. People.
You can't. You can't promote too early.
Yeah, absolutely. We hit some major. Blabbermouth is a major magazine. We hit a lot of major online magazines. Brave Words, another one. These are places that have a huge following, and we saw some great comments, like people saying, like, "I want to buy 3," like that kind of thing. It was great, but then months and months went by, and those people went on with their lives, and then. So we want to make sure we're going to try and time some press releases, and we're going to try and do something with timing. One other thing we're going to do is on the actual day of September 9th. It's a Wednesday, so it's a work day. I'm not taking the day off of work, but that evening-ish, certainly evening on the East Coast, we're going to do just a marathon session. Rich Catino and I, we're going to have lots of guests come on.
That's our cue, Hun, to say we'd love to come on.
I'm sorry, I had something stuck in my throat. We want to have lots of fun friends just drop in and make 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever, come in and hang out with us while we do a marathon session. My lovely wife Tiffany will probably join if she's able to. We're just gonna do a marathon session, kind of. I hate to say like the pledge drive or that kind of thing, but we were hoping that people just scrolling around through Facebook will just happen upon us and say, "Hey, that looks like fun," and just tune in and then maybe lend some support to the program. That's the whole thought. And I think I strayed from the answer, but I wanted to promote the September 9th live stream. Tune into that if you can. But I think that's part of the answer to the timing thing. You want a lot of things to happen as this is kind of kicking off and getting hot. I'll say one more quick thing. I actually got the chance to interview a guy named Brian Polito, who lives in Arizona. He's actually, just coincidentally grew up in New Jersey like me, moved out to Arizona. He is basically, I think, of the top 5 all-time Kickstarter money raisers in the comic world all belong to him. So he's a master of this. He absolutely knows what he's doing. So I'm trying to basically look at his desk and copy his notes as I'm going. He does the Lady Death books, by the way, and those kinds of things. And he's a super nice guy.
Okay.
Right,
by the way, he's a super nice guy. Don't think people might have wrong impressions, or I don't. He's really super nice guy. It was really an honor to meet him and see the headquarters for Coffin Comics. But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to basically also pay attention, and that's part of studying, and following along, paying attention to the masters and kind of doing what they do. And again, I actually am not buttering up my hosts here. That follows. You guys have had a lot of success here, so I'm definitely learning from you guys the best I can.
Well, it's great to see you back at the writing desk again. We're super excited about it, and also it's metal.
I mean, I was going to say when we come on, I know Pip's going to tell all the stories about how the super nerd in the back it was like, oh, you listen to Metallica, and Pip's like, no, I listen to Metallica, and she actually pulled me into that. Yeah, I mean, and now here we are, we're just rocking with Agretsuko now, because that's an anime that speaks to both of us. Between her and between Pip and my buddy Froilan is Irizarry from Code.gov. I have been really expanding my metal listening to a point of where now I'm listening to a group called Metalachi, which I highly recommend to you, Jack. They're basically a mariachi band that does covers. They do metal covers, and they do a Crazy Train. They do a mariachi Crazy Train that'll blow your freaking mind.
So I've been working on them, Jack. I've been working on them.
Good job, Pip. Yeah.
I'm super excited to see you getting, jumping back into the writing side of things. So I'm gonna,
thank you.
We've all had our experiences. I don't want to call it writer's block, but sometimes writing is easier than others. When you came back to actually doing this thing, was it easy to jump back in because it was such a passion project, or did you find it hard to get back on the Crazy Train?
Nicely done. How do I follow that up?
Welcome to my world, baby. Welcome to my world.
All aboard. I guess the answer to keep the Ozzy Osbourne going, the answer would be I don't know. Don't ask me. I don't know. That's an Ozzy Osbourne reference, by the way. So actually, the real answer. Sharon! No, that's actually an excellent question. And Ben and Keith asked me that from TG Geeks, and I kind of equate it to if again, we'll take it back to sports. If you have an injury, for a while, and you're away from the field for a while, or the ice, or the court, whatever your chosen sport, you always want to get back, and you kind of always stay interested in it. And again, it's not that I've done zero writing. I've written, as I said, the journalism has been there. It's not quite the same, but journalism is still fun, and it's still writing. So that there's been that. But yeah, as far as the fiction goes, I will say, you know what? I'll just announce it right here. Before Am I Evil, I actually had gotten. This is actually news for the world outside of the Deadpan community knows. But yeah, I had started coming back to the Spherical Tomie universe.
Wow, my God!
However, that had to go to the side because of Am I Evil, which is a good thing. That's a good thing. And I apologize to T, because T knew some of this as well.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's also I've seen.
Tell me.
No, I did tell you. You just forgot about it. But here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. I've seen a lot of people, though, go back to a lot of their original material. I've seen a lot of the writers that we were all doing the thing back in 05 and 07 and podcasting fiction, and a lot of them are going back to those original properties. I mean, and this isn't a dig on them. I mean, I know. Our boy Scott Sigler, he was talking about going back and doing Mount Fitzroy finally, which is supposed to be the follow-up to Earthcore, which was one of the original three. But my philosophy has always been, I want to keep moving forward. So people have asked me, are you ever going to go back to Moravia, or are you ever going to go back to Billy? And actually, Kickstarter kind of cemented Billy's fate right there. The last Kickstarter I did. He's
the stadium next to
Right
Hoffa.
right next to Hoffa. Yeah, exactly. But the thing is that as great as it is to go back to the stuff that we originally did, I always think it's better for moving forward with something new. And I think that you putting Spherical Tomie on the back burner so you can do Am I Evil? I think I think that was a smarter way to go as a writer, because it's something new, it's something fresh, and it's something that to just call it as we see it, you've never done before. You've never done a graphic novel before.
That's right.
Do you feel more motivated, working on Am I Evil than you did in working with Spherical Tomie?
Yeah, all kind of good questions. Spherical Tomie, when I completed it, again, there was, I don't know how to say this. There was a demand for a follow-up.
No, I hear you.
There was a hunger for more, for at least from the people who read it, and so, and I had felt like, okay, there's more story to tell here, and again, it was just basically, stepping off the field, and it's again stepping off the field and saying like, well, I'm going to get back on and finish this, even if it takes a decade or more. But yeah, I think, well, another motivator, to be blunt, with Am I Evil, is that there are other people involved, including the original songwriters. I mean, I don't want to let these people down, and people who are interested in this and people who know the story. There are a lot of people. There's a lot of interest in this, and there's a lot of people who I don't want to let them down. And that's, when you're part of a team, that's part of it. I mean, we were all on that team in high school, where, with the group project with the one kid who didn't do anything, and the one kid who dragged the whole project down. And we certainly don't want to be that. So that's one motive. But for me personally, just me personally on my own, and I've not really fully answered Pip's question, so I'm just kind of circling back to that as well. I think the motivation, it's an exciting new story. As writers, one of the classic, it's a trope, it's a kind of a joke. Writers, we always, it's 7 days in a week, we have 7 new story ideas. We're like, oh, I've got 7 new novels that I'm working on this week, because every day you have a new idea and you say, no, I'm going to go in that direction. So it's, and what is it? Heinlein, I believe, said, finish what you start. So that's another thing, you don't want to get into your novel. And I agree. We've all done it. I'm sure he said that because he was guilty of it himself in his early days, I'm sure. And so it was good advice for him to pass on. So as far as getting back to the fiction writing, it is interesting. Just sticking with the metaphor I've been using, if you get back on the ice after having been out for a long time with a broken leg, you're gonna notice things different. You're not gonna skate as well. You're not going to, and you're gonna feel it. And I certainly felt that coming back to fiction writing. I'd say that, the story, it's a big story, so I was getting lost inside of it, because I just thought, I'm just gonna sit down at the computer and just plug away and bam, and there it's going to be. And you guys know that's not how writing a major work with a lot of elements, it doesn't work that way. I mean, you both know that better than I do, better than many people do. So that those are, I think I'm learning a little bit more about being more disciplined and being more responsible, and just doing less of, when you're young and you kind of have this thought, well, I'm so brilliant and talented, I'm just going to charge through, and it's just going to be, everything I write is going to be, everything's going to be a masterpiece. And when you get older, you realize, well, even if that were true, you still have to put in, which is maybe true for, exactly. So that's, even if that were true, you still have to do the right things. You still have to pace yourself. You still have to set up some sort of an outline, whatever that means for you. I think that's going to be individual. You have to do all the right things, so you don't write yourself into a corner and then say, okay, now I have to throw out 40,000 words because I realized I was going in the wrong direction. So I think those are all lessons learned, lessons relearned here now that I'm an older writer and coming back to it. But yeah, I do intend to get back to that. Am I Evil is going to take up some time, and there's a lot of talk, there's a lot of planning for other comics projects. So I'm going to see what happens after Am I Evil. So I apologize for those of you who thought, oh my gosh, new Spherical Tomie. I apologize for saying there's no timetable there, but just know it's, now that I'm back at the writing desk, it's there on it's in my sights.
Well, you don't know where this project's gonna take you to, right?
Right.
So Jack,
we can tell you from the ministry sort of side of things, it's very, very organic.
Right.
yeah.
Hey,
So
you know,
Jack,
can I ask you to? Oh,
Wrap it
sorry.
up.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I know that we have a limited window with you, so I want to go ahead and wrap this up. Jack, where can people find you? And what else can you tell us about September 9th? When can we be ready to give our hard-earned money to Am I Evil?
Sure. Well, hang on one second. I'm sorry to be so unprofessional. Hang on one second.
We can edit this
Hey.
out.
Let's get it for-
Yeah, that's what's editing for.
I will be back in 1 minute. She's on her. The guy came here 10 minutes early. I gotta go
Ah.
down and give her a hug.
Okay,
So
no
I
problem.
apologize.
No,
Good.
no, no. We'll
Apologize.
wait. We'll wait. We can wait.
We can pad.
We'll pad everybody. So during this break, the part this segment is going to be edited out. I even gave Pip 2 snaps. So you know where to find it.
I don't need 2 snaps.
Don't worry. Yeah, I know. Well, chat. If you notice that you can't see me, it's because we're trying to get the camera situation. I'm still working on the best way to get the cameras set up and to get everything working on the PC side of things. It's on my honey-do list for things that we need to do for not just the shared desk, but for our podcasting on a whole. But this has been an interview, and it's still going on. It's an interview with Jack Mangan. He's an old friend. He's an old friend from podcasting. He is an old friend from writing. For those of you who are fans of the Ministry of Peculiar Occurrences, he is a familiar voice. He was the guy behind Night's Plutonian Shore, and I'm kicking myself. I'm trying to remember the title of the short story that he wrote in the protocol. But I remember it was Shaunacer related. I remember
It was the Clockwork Samurai.
the
was,
Clockwork Samurai.
Oh my
That's
gosh,
right.
I'm getting into Samurai now. I should be reading.
Oh my God, yeah, we should go and revisit that. We should definitely go and revisit that. The Clockwork Samurai. Holy shit, I remember that.
Yeah. That was actually also open ended too.
It was, yeah.
So
I mean, there's after you're done with Am I Evil, a Ministry of Peculiar Occurrences graphic novel would not necessarily be a bad thing. I'm just saying. Just saying.
We have people ask us about that, and we're like, ah.
yeah, well, have your people call my people. No, I think actually, and this is not, even if you guys, of course, I'm going to say, talk to me. Let me help you guys with that, because I think
We
it
would
be
talk
awesome.
to you because you're the only person we would know that would have these kind of connections.
Boy, thanks, friend.
Well,
No,
after you've gone through this whole process, I'm sure you will learn a lot of things to take to
Yeah.
whatever projects you go on to next, right?
No, I kid, because T says, well, of course we'll call you. You're the only person we know. Like, oh, thanks a lot. Yeah.
He's such a complimentary person. Try living with
Yeah.
him.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, well, I was gonna ask the guy on the street, but I guess I'll ask you for help. But no, that's all a joke. By the way, I'm
Burn.
I'm all yours. I gave her a hug. She's on her way out the door. So
All
I'm
right,
yours.
all right.
Well,
Good luck.
until we're done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I do truly believe so. Yeah, I will absolutely talk you guys through whatever you want to do, whatever you want. I can give you some. I'll show you samples of my scripts. I can show you some scripts that I looked at that I thought were great. Yeah, we'll absolutely talk. I think you guys should. I think it'd be a great idea.
enough.
And yeah, I mean, of course, I felt like A Clockwork Samurai ended, so it's not like, oh my gosh, I need to know what happens next. But yeah, maybe, if the opportunity arises, yeah, let's get back to it and let's add on to it. But for now, like I said,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Get this one done. Yes. So September 9th.
Yeah, so let's
Yeah.
let's bring it back in. So I know that we want to go on ahead and once again touch on September 9th as the go time for the Indiegogo project for Am I Evil, which is a graphic novel. It is written by Jack Mangan, and you can look in the show notes. We have a whole treasure trove of people to that you can look up and see who is involved in this project. This is not a fly by night thing. This is a full on professional put together. It's gonna be an epic metal, just epic metal. But Jack, where can people find out more about this, and where can they find out more about you and about the Am I Evil project?
Well, thanks. Yeah. We do have a website. It's amievil-graphicnovel.com. There's a Facebook page, which is just look for Am I Evil graphic novel. We do have Instagram and Twitter. To be honest, we mainly are Facebook, but yeah, the Instagram is active. We do have a Twitter page that's semi-active. Honestly, that's my least favorite and our least active. One fun thing we've done, actually, which I didn't touch on, I recently put out the call for fan art. Just said, hey, send me some fan art. So actually, a friend of mine from way back in the day in New Jersey, I knew he was involved in Ren fairs and just a lot of acting and that kind of stuff. And he sent me a bunch of really badass pictures of him with swords. There's one of him with bodies all around him and holding his sword. It's like, well, that is perfect for Am I Evil? But my eldest daughter, who's out on her driving test right now, she did a couple of great sword images. Rhett Hastings gave me a great sword image, who's retro for those of you in the podcast world. I did, just to show everyone how easy it is, because for fan art, these are not panels that are going to be in the comic. I'll say that is a stretch goal. If we make enough, then I would love to include everyone's contributions.
Oh wow!
But I did something in MS Paint, so it's the cheesiest sword ever. But you know what? It's just kind of, I want people to have fun with this. Everyone can draw a sword or a swordsman. So I think that's been a lot of fun, and those are actually up in the fan art section of the image gallery at the Am I Evil website. And of course, there's also, some of the professional images that our artists have done are up there at the website.
I look at them; they look amazing.
Yeah, thanks. I'm completely blown away every time I look at what these guys have done. And we have amazing more to come as well. And in fact, we have a cool video. I'll tell this story very quickly too. We have a cool video on YouTube that's promoting the crowdfunding, and so now the song "Am I Evil" starts off the opening couple of minutes starts off with something that Brian Tatler has said is a tribute to Mars, the Bringer of War by Gustav Holst. The most metal riff of all time.
Most metal riff. I think George Harab said it. He said you don't get more metal than the opening riff of Mars, the Bringer of War. And I was just like, when I heard him say that on his podcast, I was like, damn, son, you're talking my language now.
And it's true. And, it's been used many times in heavy metal, but I'll say it right here, not just because of my bias because of this project, but the Am I Evil, to me, it's not the very first. Tony Iommi and Black Sabbath did it first in the metal world. Yeah, not in music, obviously, but in the heavy metal world. But I feel like Am I Evil is the absolute best, the best usage of it ever. And so I found a public domain version of Mars, the Bringer of War.
Oh, nice.
I laid some guitar work over it, and that is the soundtrack to our video, which is a collage of images from the book. Cheyenne Wright actually made it look amazing because the guy's amazing. He made it look amazing with animations and not like animated characters running across the screen, but animate graphics and animations. And so I laid down that bed music, and I showed it to Brian Tatler. He said, "Oh, I really like the music." And I went like, "Well, there you go. That's all I need in life." Is
That's right.
That's that. And, what? That is on par. I'll tell you this quick story. That is on par with hometown New Zealand boy does good. Taika Waititi, after he had finished the film Jojo Rabbit, which if you haven't seen, Jack, you really should see it. It's a brilliant piece of work. But he finished the film, and then he showed it to Mel Brooks. And at the end of it, Mel Brooks looked at him and said, "That's one of the funniest things I've ever seen." He just said, "That's one of the fun." And Taika said, and this is after he had won the Oscar for Best Screenplay. He said, "So stuff like this, yeah, this is just icing on the cake. I got my validation from Mel Brooks." And I was like, "Damn, son, damn." So right. So that's awesome. That's awesome. And
that's
Jack,
so
I
wanted to ask Jack about, since we have a little more time.
Yeah.
So you've got some sweet stretch goals lined up. People always that's one thing.
People love a stretch goal.
People love a stretch goal.
Yep.
So you don't have to write a strangely familiar pineapple erotica or a
Oh.
stretch goal. But just be aware that you might have to. So
Yeah, be careful
Well,
what you
that
put in
was-
your stretch goals, because man,
yeah, be careful what you put in the stretch goals. It can happen.
Well, that was going to be one of them. 'Cause it's, am I
Well,
pineapple?
Am
Yes,
Am I
I am.
pineapple?
Got money out of it.
Am I pineapple on pizza? Yes, I am.
No, that is evil. Yeah, am I evil?
That is evil. In many people's eyes, that is evil.
So thank you, thank you for asking, and thank you guys for taking the extra minutes. 'Cause you never know how timing works, but so since you asked, yeah, one of the stretch goals. This is actually, I've been joking about this. I mean, I realize some people are listening and not watching. One of the stretch goals, probably the most important, will be that if we hit a certain amount, I will shave off this thing that has taken up residence on my chin.
I'll see about that. Yeah.
This thing will go.
We've had that happen. We've had that happen before. No, that's on a charity stream. That's a little different, but yeah, that's a rough one.
Come off.
Hang on, breaking. My wife has just donated $10,000. Yeah.
See, that would be the opposite in this household. Yeah, that'd be the opposite in this household.
Actually, my wife.
I tell you, Jack, when I shaved this for charity, I thought my wife and my daughter were both gonna disown me, because while you've seen me without the finely cropped beard, they have not. And it was sort of a shock to the system. Pip's like, my God, I married a 12-year-old. So
and the daughter was just staring at him and
no.
Like, go put it back on now.
Exactly.
on your face.
Yeah. I was expecting to wake up and have Sharpie ink all over my face.
Yeah. So I mean, that's all right. Well, that's a silly one. But actually, that one's not even announced. Again, you guys are getting all kinds of world premieres at me, because I've actually put up the preview page. Some people have seen some preview pages of Indiegogo, but yeah. So these are actually some of them are exciting. Of course, the first one is going to be, we will do print, because I said, first and foremost, we're going to get this thing done and put out a digital book, and not worry about printing costs and all that nonsense. Not nonsense, all that wonderful stuff.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, if we raise enough, then yeah, there will be a printed version, so that those of you who are still not on board with digital comics, sure, you like them the way you like them. I'm not going to tell you the way that you like comics is wrong. So there will be a digital version. One other thing, this is exciting. This is out there, but this is the first place I'm announcing it again. So you guys are, this is a special, it's a special day.
All right.
There will be a podcast fiction version.
Oh, nice.
A audio book, if you will.
Oh my God.
Of the comic.
Very nice.
And that will be available, for free, but it will need to hit the stretch goal. So that's one of the stretch goals.
So what would
and then go ahead.
So you might give us 40.
Well, that's what I'm going to ask. What would the logistics be behind? Because I know you're also a music man yourself. What would the logistics be for you to do? I don't know, an original score or a cover of "Am I Evil" for the project as a free digital download? I mean, could that possibly happen, or is that too? Are we getting too much into legalities of music and all that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, there would be, the license that I paid for, what doesn't really cover me doing my own version, which no one wants to hear anyway. No one wants to hear
There's some versions out there, just saying a couple.
But as far as if we go with audio, I'll certainly use what I've already recorded, which is the redux of. I mean, it's actually not the full thing of Mars, the Bringer of War. It's the first 2 minutes, approximately, of my guitar over that. So sure, there will be more of that, because again, it fits. It's not I'm just not choosing it randomly. It fits because it's got the association with "Am I Evil," the actual song.
Right.
So sure. I mean, that's. In my head, I haven't really committed to this, but in my head, I thought, well, yeah, if there's going to be a podcast version, there will be some music, and like I said, that's already there, so it'd be foolish not to utilize that. And sure, there could be some some other stuff. But of course, I'm going to go with royalties. I'm not going to just cover Stairway to Heaven and throw it in there. I'm gonna do
Right.
stuff
No. Yeah.
No, but it's always nice to have a few that you don't reveal and just keep them in your pocket, just in case that it shoots through the moon and you're like, I don't know, what do I do?
Right. Well, and I will. The one last thing.
Don't do that.
The one last thing to say along the lines is that I've spoken to a major artist who will remain unnamed, who has agreed that they've said, we can certainly use one of our old prints and as part of the book. So it's a major artist, someone who's actually been recognized by Prince Charles. So this is not like, it's not like, he's a well-known artist with lots of street cred as well as literal royal cred. So we may get some. I may have even said too much, but so we may get a little bit of a piece from them. That'll be a stretch goal, but their name will be announced if we hit that stretch goal. So we'll get some. So basically, to sum it all up in a nutshell, we'll get some incredible guest art if we hit a certain. So those are our stretch goals. We'll get some incredible guest art, and as I said, the first stretch goal I mentioned, we already have some really nice fan art contributions. I would love for those to be officially in the back pages of the book. When you read a comic, you get to the back
that'd
pages.
Be cool.
There's all
that'd
kinds
be very
of
cool
art. So,
right.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
So those are our stretch goals. Yeah.
So we need to make this happen. So we're going to drop this so that people can just click on the link from this show, go straight there, give you money, get something awesome, make it happen.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate you guys having me on and taking the time and putting up with my little delay to get out of the way. But I really appreciate you're right, T. It's been literally years. You guys have been doing this for years. It's been wonderful. I know you guys have been guests on my podcast multiple times, so it's really great to finally kind of make and have a good reason. Like 5 years ago, I could have shown up and I would talk to you about journalism and that kind of stuff. I wouldn't really have the the fiction, creative fiction. So this is, and I hope the last thing I say, I certainly hope I answered some of the questions that you guys had.
Absolutely. And we appreciate you being on the show, and definitely we will be making sure that all the links are going where they're supposed to be going. We're going to make sure that we point people in the right place, and whether this show goes up the week of or week before, we're going to make sure that the link is there, and we will always also remind people when we're coming up on the shared desk that yes, this Indiegogo is still going on. Make sure you go and check it out. And again, thank you all for hanging out in chat. Thank you all very much for listening to the Shared Desk. Remember, folks, the Shared Desk is protected by a no commercial, no derivative share like United States 3.0 license. You can find out more about that license at creativecommons.org. Bring back any memories, Jack. And you can find me at tmorris.com. You can also find me at the website tmorris.com. And Pip, where can people find you?
PJBallantine.com.
There you go. Yeah. Or you can leave us voicemail and leave Jack voicemail if you've got questions about graphic novels, about crowdfunding. You can go ahead and drop us a voicemail at 703-791-1701. Again, thanks everybody for listening. Until next time, enjoy the ride.
Catch you later.
And with that gap, that's done. Okay. And scene. Okay. Again, chat, thank you all very much for joining us. Jack, it really was a pleasure having you on. It really was.
Definitely.
Thanks everyone watching.
It was lovely to see you.
Yeah, it really was.
Yes,
it really was. It really was. We've been out of sync. Real quick, chat, just so you all. Oh, and thank you, Nerd Girl. Thank you for that. By the way, chat, just to pass it on. Tonight it is official. I'm gonna tweet about it as soon as we're done here. But it is official tonight. We will be doing some more Fireside lore tonight. The weather is good. The weather's going to be perfect. It should be nice and cool. We cleared out the fire pit, which needed desperately to be cleared out. Man, ash is heavy. Ash is heavy when you're scooping it out of your fire pit. But yeah, we're the fire pit has been prepped. We are ready to go for tonight, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So we will be doing Fireside Lore tonight, 9 p.m. Because we want it to be dark, and we're gonna try a new camera setup. It's gonna be. We're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to it.
Be fancy.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. So now that we're in the after show, the after show afterglow, I think we should call it. Jack, you doing good? I take it. So Sophie is off to her. She's off, right? She's out of the house now for the next hour. She's driving.
Yeah, she's doing right. It's a lesson, and then the test, the actual official test, is
so
at the
this
end
is
of
the last
lesson.
one.
Yeah, this is the last one.
Wow.
So,
And then if she
get
oh
so
my
old.
God.
yeah.
Shout out. We are so effing old. It's not even funny.
It was only last week I was in the library listening to Spherical Tommy, and just never imagining I'd be living in America.
Right.
Time flies, baby. Time flies. Oh, and
I know.
yeah, but it's been it's been crazy. But no, I'm glad. It sounds like, Jack, you've got a good direction for this, and provided the just give us a slot you want me and Pip to show up in, and just let us know, and we'll definitely do our best to be there. All right.
So I realized as I said it, the words were coming out of my mouth, I was like, this is uncool.
How's it? No.
Well, we had talked about it before offline, so it's not like I completely blindsided you.
Nah.
But yeah, now I'm putting them on the spot.
Yeah. However,
Oh no! Don't make us stand up for our friend.
I was gonna say, how long have we been friends? Please, don't even.
Yeah.
Nah, don't even.
And the idea also is it's going to be fun. I don't want you guys to come on and be like, you out there, give money. I just want you guys to come on and hang out.
Well, we are going to do that anyway. We're going to say, give money right now, yada yada yada. If we have to, we'll do a cooking stream. We'll do another cooking stream together. I don't know if you heard about this. Yeah, I don't know if you heard about this, Jack. But so Friday, Pip and I did a wing off.
Oh yeah, I saw the pictures. They looked amazing.
Oh my God, it was nuts. It was nuts. I was like, when we were in those final stages with the wings, I was like, I have a feeling Trejo's wings are just going to edge out Snoop's wings. And then we tried each one. I'm like, damn, I can't pick. I can't freaking pick. Because they were so...
making brownies.
Yeah. Let's be honest. This recipe is why you bought the book. I mean, that's Snoop's own words, baby. Snoop's own words. Speaking of food.
Right.
You don't hear any metal bands putting out cookbooks. I feel like they're missing a beat there.
Right. Well, actually, speaking of Gwar, Gwar are Richmond based. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh yeah.
Facing the statue of Stonewall Jackson. No, it was Lee. There's the big statue of Lee in Richmond.
Big statue
they
of
were
Lee.
like, put Gwar up there instead.
The guy who I think is the drummer. The guy who's the drummer, I believe he was actually the drummer of a friend of mine's band. I distantly knew the guy. I knew the guy through the band, and he was a really. What was that?
Jizmac the Gusha.
I guess that's him. I just
when he was in high school, that was his name.
That wasn't his name in high school. I can promise you that. But the problem is that I have seen. I've seen photos. I've seen photos of Gwar. I've seen videos of Gwar, and I'm just like, when we're like at an event and they're like, oh yeah, Gwar's here. I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I'm ready for that. I don't know if I'm ready to cross that bridge. I mean, because I know those guys, they really push the boundaries. But I've also heard some of their music, and I'm like, they're not bad. Don't get me wrong, they're not bad. But I'm just like, when I see their performance stuff, I'm like, ooh, that's like performance art, like, that's like a mix of performance art and A Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm not sure I'm ready for that,
Don't wear your best clothes. Yeah.
But I know that they are Richmond based, and I'm like, and I think if it's the same drummer that I knew in Richmond, yeah, that guy I remember him. He was the drummer of a band that was called The Others. They evolved into the band called Rosebud. Very talented drummer. So yeah. Yeah, that's
Well,
funny.
I brought them up because Guar Bar is in Richmond. Obviously I've not been, but yeah, you guys can go to their restaurant. They have the Guar Bar restaurant.
Wow, the Guar Bar restaurant. Oh my God.
It's in Clay Street. I'm not sure if you know where that is.
I think you know what? I think Clay Street is where is where Scott's Addition is.
You know what's really nice? They offer vegan food.
Okay, I guess we gotta go.
I think that's hilarious.
I don't think Mom is quite ready. I don't think Mom is quite ready for the Guar Bar. I don't think she's quite ready for the Guar Bar. There is this place in Richmond though, Jack. If you guys ever come out east, we'll take you here. There's a place in Richmond. It's a speakeasy, and every week they put up a new code on they put a new code on their Facebook page. And the only way you can access is if you've got to mention the code. Otherwise, they don't do the thing. And then if they go, okay, so you mentioned the code, literally a bookcase, because you walk in and it looks like this tiny little book nook, right? A little indie bookstore. But then the bookcase swings back and it's this beautiful 1920. Everyone's done up in flapper gear and they had scallops and scotch to die for. It was fantastic. It was a great experience.
Is a great town, actually.
Yeah, really.
You would definitely enjoy.
I think you'd dig it.
Yeah. Oh my
and
God.
Stone's out here. Stone's out here too. Stone Brewery.
That's right. Yeah.
Stone Brewery, right? Or out there on.
I'm looking at the Guar Bar, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Like I said, I don't think my mom is quite ready for the Guar Bar.
Yeah.
Probably not a family establishment, right?
Probably.
It looks pretty nice. I mean, apart from the blood splattered on the walls, I mean,
Why not?
Right.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and let you go because we got to figure out what we're doing for dinner. But just real quick, check. Guar Bar, maybe. Guar Bar, anyone? All right, everybody. You all take care, and thank you all for joining us. It's been a blast. See you tonight at 9 p.m.
Thank you guys. Yeah, thank you guys so much. Thanks.